Hello class, this is Charlie and I am doing a little bit of work, doing a little thinking about one of our assignments, which was to uh, put together a list of important things, processes, people, locations or networks, events or sequences, and decisions. And you'll see that I have just a very uh, lightly formatted Microsoft Word document. I've just put in a header with today's date, and I have a little table with just two rows in it. The header across the top that you'll recognize from our Zachman framework, which is in our first step PDF document that we shared in class together, and that is on the class site. And I chose to work in this Word document, and I recommend you do the same. What I'd like to see from each of you is a way to get started on our project, our requirements package, our personal project, is to have a little worksheet that we can begin thinking about our project charter and the content in it. So our project charter is our place of reference for this document. And as a business analyst, if I was given that project charter and told that I was going to be working on this project, I would review it and I would look at it and see what information that I could get out of it that's going to help me define the requirements for this project and to help everyone be successful. So to that end, I am referring to the project charter and I'm reading it, and I'm beginning to understand that there are some things out of it that I can begin pulling out. So I'd like for you to utilize the same format in your work that you'll turn in, and just take a moment and begin thinking about the data that is making up our project, and then perhaps any processes that we've identified, the people that are going to be involved with doing the work, the networks or the locations that are going to be involved and the networks that support these locations, any timing or special sequences, and the decisions. So again, referring back to the project charter, I'm looking for things that resonate with me that are going to help me understand what's important about this project. And I'm doing this work so that other people can quickly come up to speed on what the project is about. So as I scan through this, one of the most useful places of the project charter is the executive summary. And as I read this, I begin seeing that the Pets Forever operations platform will provide the system solutions needed to support an integrated, intelligent, and scalable pet store model that can be readily duplicated as new stores are planned in the future. So that's interesting. It looks like they're going to move away from this just a single standalone store. It looks like they've got perhaps some big venture capital or some investors who are going to help Nick Danger build out a chain of pet stores. And they must really like the way that he does business, because he's got a philosophy of holistic and sustainable pet care and pet ownership that are the signature of this unique enterprise. So that's great. Someone's recognized the good work that he's doing. And what I'm beginning to think about when I think about a pet store is I began thinking about what goes into a pet store and what makes up a pet store. And so I certainly think about pets, those things which are related to pets, which might be the products that we might use to feed the pets, or the products that we would use to groom the pets. But certainly the store is going to have products, and it's going to have customers, and these products need to be stored on hand so that we have them when people come to shop. And so that makes me think of inventory. there's going to be prices for these product that I sell it at, and there's also going to be my costs. And if I'm going to have product, I'm probably going to be purchasing them from a vendor. And if I'm going to be purchasing things from vendors, I might have purchase orders, and I might have customer preferences. And as I just began thinking about what makes up a store, I could begin just envisioning some of the things that are going to be making up this store, and the things that are going to have to go into it. A brief list. As I mentioned, there's also the data, which is the what. In our conversations, we talked about the data, and we also talked about the why. And the why has to go with decisions or logic. And so when I think about decisions or logic, and I'm thinking about a store, I'm thinking about when we purchase. So what are the purchase rules? What are the product rules? How do we define a customer? How do we accept inventory? How do we set prices? How do we look at costs and determine whether or not we're going to, and a vendor, and look and determine whether or not we're going to issue a purchase order, and whether or not we're going to accept a vendor, and exactly how we're going to define what pets we're going to accept in our store or service in our store. As you can see, it's just about you having enough facility with this subject matter so that you can add some value. Now, in a real life situation, there might be some documents that I could analyze. There would be people that I could interview and talk to, but I don't have all of those items here, because we have our situation is that we're doing this in a mock environment, right? We're mocking this up, and we're trying to make this work for ourselves. So when I began thinking about, so as I carry on and continue on, I'm thinking about how do we receive pets from our vendors? How do we order products? How do we sell to customers, or the selling process, or perhaps we'd want to call it the retail order? How do we set prices? And which vendors do we set up for payment? And how do we issue POs? What's the process for that? And how do we identify, show our customer that we know them? How do we identify our customers? You'll see that this worksheet is just a way for me to begin gathering my thoughts about this project. And as much information as I can provide here in a few minutes is time well spent, because it stops someone else from having to do the same sort of work, and it gives people a place to start. This is part of the job for us. We sort of arrive on the scene early, before the developers perhaps are engaged, and we have to begin pulling this information together and making sense of things. So what I'd like you to do for this particular assignment is just to spend, why don't you time box yourself for 20 minutes and do what I've done and just see if what you can't glean out of your own experience and expertise and what's in the project charter, or what's, if you're doing a custom project for yourself, what you recall or what you have documented as things that are important to your current project. Go through that and identify all of these features as data, process, people, networks, timing, and decisions or logic, and record a nice selection of this information. And as I said, time box yourself for 20-30 minutes, and when you begin petering out with the ideas about what might be there, that's okay. This is meant as a way for us to start the conversation. Okay? What I'd like for you to do is to take this information and record it in this simple Word document format that I have, and then submit it to the assignment, which I'm going to post to out on the site tonight. And we'll talk more about it in class when we meet next week. Thank you.